Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the little Volkswagen Polo. I'm actually, to be honest, recording this video the very next day, but you'll be seeing it a bit later on. It's good news. As soon as we finished the video on it, I sat down, I made a list, I've got it on the bench there, and I actually started ringing around straight away trying to get some parts. And Silver Lake come good with some parts. I need to ring them up today and get them to ship them out, because I've managed to find a lot of the other parts that are going to get this car back on its wheels reasonably local, Malden in Essex. So still about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes from us. But I'm going to jump in the van, head there. Hopefully we can do a little bit when we get there and pick up some parts to get this one back on its wheels. Let's get in the van and go and sit at the Dartford crossing. Made it here, guys. UK vehicle recycling. Got loads of late salvage here breaking, like the Fiat 500 a Bath there, Nissan Dukes, DS3s. He's got everything here. And we have got a wing in colour, the wing bracket. Sorry, I'm trying to speak quite loudly because I got the radio on here. Front bumper, it is smashed to pieces. It's no good, but all of the grills are fine, as is that LED daytime running lights. So we got that. All of the aircon pipes. Driver's side wheel arch liner, engine bed with roll bar, suspension leg with drive shaft disc, engine mount, brake caliper and a lower arm in there as well. So let's actually get back to the yard and get this car put back on its wheels. That was actually very, very good to turn up there at the time we did and still see a lot of these bits laying around like that front bumper. I mean, to anyone else, that's destroyed, isn't it? It's useless, half of it's missing. But every single grille is in that bumper and none of them are broke. And that DRL, I looked, it's all LEDs in there, Chris. Yeah. That on eBay on its own was 150 quid. I'll give £100 for that bumper. It's got everything in it we're going to need. We got all the aircon pipes there, that's the backing from behind the bumper. Obviously the bed, lower arm, leg, drive shaft, new caliper. Even though the caliper that was on there still looked all right, that did have an almighty whack, didn't it? So we decided to change it, and the brake pipes broke as well. So I managed to get it with the complete brake pipe, so that's all good. And he even had that sitting there, headlight panel, still on the car, and that's the one that bolts up there that I took off yesterday. And it is the only one that we need. So, engine mount as well, that was cracked. Wheel arch liner and a wing in colour. It's going to need paint, but we can panel this car up with that, and there's no reason why it's going to have to come off again. We are just waiting on the bonnet and hinges. That come from Silver Lake. Bit unfortunate, it's red. Probably the worst colour for a painter to go over. None of them like a red bonnet, do they? But bonnet and hinges. So now I'm just going to keep looking. I need a front panel and rads complete. The airbag kit I've definitely sourced from Airbag Team, but I am trying to find one a little bit cheaper if possible. I mean, it's not expensive what they're asking, but I'm just wondering, is there some out there that are a little bit cheaper? And a few other little bits and bobs, but it is coming together very, very nicely, and so lucky to find all them bits in one place. Just a few more little bits to find. So we're going to move on and actually get this car back on its wheels. Subframe on, leg on, drive shaft in, etc, etc. Let's do it.
Hopefully this is going to show up on camera okay. But there you can see I've plugged the hole where the broken bolt is with some Quicksilver. Chemical metal, plastic metal, call it what you like. The idea being, you put that in, let that go hard, smooth it off with a sander, and then you can find the perfect centre and pilot drill it. Because the bolt was in there snapped off and it wasn't a flat, it's very difficult sometimes to avoid running off with the drill. So that just means you can get the pilot, which is, I've piloted that at 2.5 mil. You can run a pilot nail all the way through it, and you're pretty safe that it'll stay on centre. And now it's a process of opening that out to 9 mil and then tapping it with the correct tap. So I'll get on and I'll cut back in a little while. So a slight change of plan now. I drilled it out to 4 mil and the plug fell out, which didn't normally happen. And then when I looked up inside, the broken bolt had turned slightly, which is a right result. So I've hammered in a torque, not over hammered it in, because the last thing you want to do is snap that off, because you're in a whole world of pain then trying to drill a hardened tip of a torque out. But I've tapped that in and it looks to have worked. And there we have one broken bolt. One, get it in the camera view, one broken bolt. So I'm pleased with that. I will still run the tap up it to clean it out, but a little bit of straightening there and a little bit of paint to put on, and that's ready for that subframe, suspension subframe to go in. And there we have it, tapped out with the bolt, second-hand new bolt, new second-hand bolt. And there it is with a replacement bolt. I've tapped it out, cleaned the thread. There's still a little bit of damage here. It's just rolled that slightly. So it is Sunday and Rob's not about, so I'm going to wait until tomorrow, and I shall just get him to hold something heavy against this while I tap it from this side. It's quite springy metal, so it's a bit of a two-man job really, but once that's done I can repair the seam sealer, a little bit of paint, and that headache solved really. So I'm quite pleased with that.
Well, Chris cracked on with that and got it perfect back to normal. It was really nice that he managed to get that bolt to wind out. I've just been holding the sledgehammer this side for him, and he's dressed that edge back up where it should be as well. He said we'd just crack on with it, Rob, and that can be seam sealed after. So let's move straight on and actually get this one put back on its wheels. That all went back together beautifully. Every single bolt lined up perfect and all wound home perfect. So definitely no structural damage there. It was purely that subframe and of course that bolt hole that Chris has drilled out and repaired. But moving along with it very, very nicely. I'm at that stage now where I'm actually ready to bring it down off the ramp and get that leg and hub fitted. And even though we're not going to be driving it anywhere soon, I will probably swap out this brake line and stuff just while it's up on the ramp. It does make sense to just get it all done while I'm here. But lower arms in there, lower arms back on the other side. All back in there, all done up, drive shafts in. I need to hold that down and just do the bolt up, remove this bit of rope. But so far so good, and made quite light work of it. It's nice and fresh on the mind. So let's just carry on, get this leg in and then get it down. Moving along very, very nicely and getting a nice sense of satisfaction out of this one. So I didn't want to roll the time lapse for too long. You see me struggling there with that leg to hold it up and get the 3 bolts in the top of it. But it is now back in there, and I've connected up the caliper, put the new brake line on there, connected that up, ABS sensors all back in, drop links back on. I can see that there is a slight little dent in that drop link. I don't think it would affect it, but you know what? This is actually new and improved because it's aluminium and the other side's got the steel metal one. So I'm going to replace it because they're actually odd. There may be some variation in them, but that is all back together. And then, hopefully I haven't clipped that in, I actually moved on and fitted that new engine mount. So I actually had a crack through it here. And someone did point out in the last video, said, Rob, you've took that gearbox mount off. Is that all right hanging in there? It probably would have paid to put something under it, but it did have one bolt still holding it on there. But that's the new mount fitted, and the engine, the tension that actually come off of it when I removed that mount was quite a lot. It closed that gap up. Now it's on there, it's done. I haven't got the old one. I think I've just chucked it in the scrap bin. So we're just going to carry on with this and actually start stripping off some of this real damaged stuff here, like all these AC pipes, etc. But I did mention about the inlet manifold and didn't show it, so I thought I would show it in this video because someone did say, oh, well, I would have liked to have seen that. So yeah, inlet manifold completely destroyed there, so we're going to need to get a new one of those. I've just done a bit of research. I rang the dealer. It was £480 plus VAT, and you had to pay for it and pre-order it, and it would have been about a week. But they are actually available online, new, for £199, all in delivered. So if I can't find a second-hand one, we'll probably go down the brand new route. But let's just carry on and remove all of this damage. Once you do get cracking, I've said it time and time again, it's just nuts and bolts. They're all nut and bolted together, aren't they? Everything. So once you just do start delving in, you see actually less and less damage. You can see that chassis cap is absolutely perfect. And that one there is just on that corner. Chris will pull that and get that bang on exactly where it should be. The bottom's fine up here, a little bit twisted out and beaten in there. He'll get that straight, no problem at all. The accident has missed the alternator. We know it was sort of located around this area, wasn't it? Here, concentrated. But it's missed the alternator. It missed the aircon pump, which is really nice because normally it snaps them off. Of course, you've got the oil filter down here as well. That will always cause problems when they've been hit. We've had that before. And of course, you've got the starter motor right on the front of the gearbox there. But inlet manifold down here also broke. Just slowly but surely removing all of the parts. Yeah, that is quite bad there, isn't it? But it is just plastic, and that's why it's all cracked. A couple of the plugs are actually damaged, like that one there. It was still in there, but obviously the little catch on it is broken, so we'll have to replace that. I am just going to carry on, and hopefully in this video we don't have any damaged parts left on this car. It will be nice to get it removed, and if there's any other little intricate or tiny parts that we haven't noticed, then of course they will need to be ordered as well. So the headlight I removed actually is not broken, but the headlight lug is broken. It's still attached here, but like the Audi headlights, you can see clearly on the top of it, it's got the holes there to have a lug repair done on it. So we've got one headlight saved there. And then I noticed like the little hockey stick that goes underneath the headlight here. That's what I called it, guys, but call it what you like. That little panel there, that has got your guides in it for your headlight for the bottom. One of those is broke. And then, of course, the edge of this is broke. And you wouldn't have noticed that unless you stripped it off. So we'll need to get those for both sides, etc, etc. I'm going to continue on, get this inlet manifold off, and hopefully just double check the part numbers on it. I did get the part number from the dealer. Just double check it and get one ordered up. There seems to be quite a few on eBay second hand. I've just had another look. Let's carry on. How about this for a bit of luck? Look what's just turned up. Wants a refurb. It's got a little dig in it there. And I did notice it's got a big bulge in the tyre there. But that is the perfect wheel matching for this car. So another thing done. We've got an alley wheel to go on it, and that can go on there today. So all of the damaged parts on this car, apart from the aircon pipes, is now removed, and it's so nice to see there's no other damage. None of that plastic inlet manifold. Let's just show that. So you can see inside there, none of it has made its way through these holes and up into the engine. Because if you look, hopefully, let's try and zoom in a little bit. Look at those valves. They're like new. Same on that cylinder. And again, is that trying to focus? Let me just move that out of the way. It's because I'm zoomed in too far, isn't it? Basically, all the valves are perfect. There's no debris in there whatsoever. And that is all of the damaged parts removed. So it's just going to be now sourcing a few little parts, and we'll probably, it's going to be another video, isn't it? But ultimately, that's all of the damage removed now. Chris will do that bit of body work down there, get that leg straightened out. In the meantime, I need to source all of the little bits. Now, what I will say, you would have seen on the time lapse there, I did struggle a tiny little bit when it come to get this off. It wouldn't move, and I thought, well, I wonder what's holding it. I went round, checked all the bolts. So you got one here, one there, one there. There was one inside there. And then, you know, this one just here, guys. Well, it was probably a bit smaller than that, but it was laying in there, and I'll never see the bolt. So a little bit of tension on it. You could feel where it was holding. And then I see it. I flicked it out of the way, undone the bolt, and that's the inlet manifold off. Tiny little thing. But let's get one of them ordered up and get that wheel fitted on there. Absolutely not our intention to do a video on a car that we've already done a video on so soon, so just last week. But we really cracked on with it and wanted to get as much done as we could. And of course, I know you all appreciate it was stuck on the ramp. I've still got the aircon pipes to do, and Silver Lake is not due until later today or tomorrow, so the bonnet's not here. I didn't want to take it off because we're expecting some bad weather, and that is going to protect it from the elements. I've also put some paper towel in all of the inlet holes there, and chucked the air filter back on there, because that has got a cap that goes into the rocker box there, and I didn't want the oil to leak out. But I would say that wheel's sitting exactly where it needs to be, guys, wouldn't you? Really, really happy with how this one's turning out. I need to put a jump pack back on it, do the window up, have a bit of a clear out in here, but yeah, mega happy with it. And I did just notice as well, and I genuinely didn't notice that when we looked in the car last time, the seat's gone. So looks like it's ripped on its seams, so all very repairable by Lee, the trim man. He'll fix that, no problem. Curtain airbag, and the front airbags. So happy with that. So like I just said there, never ever our intention to do a video back to back. So sorry guys, that's a bit crooked and that's going to annoy someone, isn't it? Never our intention to do a video back to back of one that we've previously done, because we have got another project that we do want to get in and get cracking with. But unfortunately, once it's on the ramp, we've said it before, you're committed. Once you strip all that off, you are committed, and it can't come off the ramp until it's got all of that new suspension on it. But to get that little car turned around to the point it's at this soon on after receiving it is brilliant. I can't wait to get the inlet manifold on it, flick that key, you know that car's going to fire right up. There's going to be no issues with that at all. There's nothing wrong with the engine. So that is going to be the end of today's video. As usual, put your comments in the comment section down below. And if you have stayed watching till this late in the video, I'm sorry about the ending of the last video on the Polo, where it may have caused some confusion. So I'm just going to quickly reiterate on what Chris was actually saying there. If you comment today, tomorrow, next week on a video that's 6 months old, we're not going to see that comment, guys. We're only going to see the ones, respond to the ones, and of course like the ones on the most recent and upcoming videos. Don't forget, please like, subscribe and share. Follow us on Instagram for the little sneak peeks at Salvage Rebuilds. And don't forget, guys, if you do reach out on Instagram, always include your telephone number. We'll see you very, very soon in the next one.